The Kremlin's extreme focus on the war against Ukraine is leading to economic decline and, as a result, impoverishment of the population, Fortune writes. Despite an increase in Russian budget revenues, mainly due to higher taxes and excise duties, the GDP deficit remains at 2%.
Now they are living on fiscal stimulus. They have 10% inflation. They used to have less inflation than the rest of the world. Now they have more than most other countries, and that inflation is only going to go up as they raise salaries, pay soldiers, and so on. And they already have an interest rate of 18%, but even that doesn't hold back the inflation, so it will make people poorer and poorer. There are no economic sectors in Russia that are growing, except for the military. Oleg Koryonak, professor at the University of Virginia, in a comment to Radio Liberty.
In the meantime, the Kremlin is bragging about the growth of salaries. However, experts explain that it's a questionable reason to be proud. Salaries are rising mainly in the military-industrial complex, primarily because of the acute shortage of personnel. But the increase in salaries is literally eaten up by the growing inflation. As of July 2024, compared to July 2023, the price of chicken in Russia rose by more than 12%, chicken eggs by 38%, and bread by 15%. This is the data from Russian Federal State Statistics Service. The real rise in prices is much higher. Despite the seasonal nature, the prices for vegetables broke all possible records. Tomatoes rose in price by 35%, cucumbers by 32%, and potatoes by almost 23%. The most painfully, the price rises impact vulnerable groups of the population: pensioners, people with disabilities, and families with children.
I have children, one is 5, and the second one was just born, so I see how everything has gone up in price in 5 years. Nappies are 2-3 times more expensive. And it's the same with everything. Baby food is 2 times more expensive. I'm not talking about baby formula. It's not 2 times more expensive, it's 4 times more expensive now.
70% of Russians earn less than 40,000 rubles a month, which is quite a small amount of money, especially, say, if he is the only one working and he also has a wife and a child, then this family lives practically on the brink of poverty. This is a small amount of money to live on in modern Russia, so of course the proportion of poor people in Russia is extremely high and increasing.
Russia's war against Ukraine has left the country virtually cut off from European markets. Now the Kremlin is trying to find trading partners in the East. According to estimates of the U.S. Department of Defense, having spent more than $200 billion, or 10% of the GDP, on a full-scale invasion of Ukraine, Putin has decided to invest another $70 billion in the construction of new transport roads. However, it is not that simple, experts believe.
Despite surging trade with China, Russia's eastern railways handled 13% less goods than their stated capacity last year. One of them, the Baikal-Amur Railway, is mostly single-track and only partly electrified. Even under the best conditions, Russia's infrastructure track record is poor. From The Economist publication.
In addition, it is extremely problematic to attract significant human resources in the conditions of Russian full-scale war against Ukraine. All industries are experiencing labor shortages. For example, the Union of Bread Bakers of Russia reported that the deficit in their industry is 35%. The only way out is to attract foreign workers, even unskilled ones, and to ensure the inflow of migrants. Putin signed a decree on providing humanitarian support to people who share traditional Russian spiritual and moral values. According to the document, foreigners loyal to the regime will be able to obtain Russian residential permits outside the quotas set by the government. Reported by Anastasia Tarnavska, Larissa Petruk, UATV News.